A powerful message on child abuse. The daily reminder, keeping kids safe is a community-wide effort.
There's been reports that you are considering separating children from their mothers at the border, and I want to know yes or no whether that's true.
The head of Homeland Security in the hot seat, his response to his border policy, and a new report on the status of immigration arrest.
I've spent a lot of my life on the interface between science and art. Understanding shape in an aesthetic way, presenting these skeletons in a visually arresting way, often leads to new insights.
The new insights that could change the way scientists view marine anatomy. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. U.S. officials say the number of people trying to sneak into the country from Mexico has hit a 17-year low. The news comes directly from the Department of Homeland Security. Secretary John Kelly reported the numbers to a Senate committee today. San Diego border experts say the decline is part of a documented trend starting well before the Trump administration.
Crossing the U.S.-Mexico border illegally is a risk Avmeed says fewer people are willing to take.
The people who are coming from Mexico, which is a much smaller number than we've seen historically, they're much more desperate. They're coming from places like Guerrero and Michoacan and Sinaloa that are besieged by the violence of the drug war.
Mead, the director of the Transborder Institute at the University of San Diego, says he isn't surprised by the drop in arrests reported by U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Undocumented immigration and apprehensions have been going down steadily for the last 15 years. They ticked up a little bit last year and they're kind of back on the normal trend.
Border Patrol reports officers arrested about 12,500 people in March attempting to enter the U.S. illegally. That's lower than the same period last year at nearly 35,000 arrests.
The winter months, particularly January, February, March, are always the lowest months at the border. So I would hesitate before claiming that any brand new policy is responsible for this. In fact, we're actually at a 40-year low for undocumented immigration in the United States and for apprehensions at the border.
Secretary of Homeland Security John Kelly is crediting President Donald Trump's administration's implementation of executive orders to enforce immigration laws.
People afraid to go to school, people afraid to drive, people afraid to call the police. And that's a different story than migrants choosing not to come here in the first place.
Mead says historically, it's the economy that influences migration trends more than any policy or initiative.
The head of Homeland Security also made a partial reversal on a border policy during his committee hearing. Secretary Kelly says parents and children caught at the border will not be routinely separated. Here's a little bit of the back and forth with the Democratic senator from North Dakota.
Only if the situation at that point in time requires it. The mother, if the mother is sick or addicted to drugs or whatever. In the same way we would do it here in the United States if we...
Yeah, so if you thought the child was endangered,
sure.
that's
Right.
the only circumstance to which you would separate.
Can't imagine doing it otherwise.
Kelly has previously said separating parents and children might be used as a deterrent to would-be border crossers. Federal authorities raided a Los Angeles area business today. They say cheated a U.S. government visa program. Under the program, foreign investors who commit $500,000 or more to job-creating investments in certain areas are given green cards. The FBI says the business was seeking immigration documents for about 100 Chinese investors for construction projects never built. World leaders demanding action tonight following one of the worst chemical attacks of the Syria's civil war, as United Nations diplomats debated over whether to hold President Bashar al-Assad's government responsible. The White House is weighing in. Today, PBS NewsHour correspondent John Yang asked the president about how his administration's Syria policy will differ from previous approaches.
How will you distinguish your policy and your actions on Syria from the inaction that you criticized of the previous administration? You say it's now your responsibility. What should we see or what should we look for that will be different?
I like to think of myself as a very flexible person. I don't have to have one specific way, and if the world changes, I go the same way. I don't change. Well, I do change, and I am flexible, and I'm proud of that flexibility. And I will tell you that attack on children yesterday had a big impact on me. Big impact. That was a horrible, horrible thing. And I've been watching it and seeing it, and it doesn't get any worse than that. And I have that flexibility, and it's very, very possible. And I will tell you, it's already happened, that my attitude toward Syria and Assad has changed very much.
We'll take a closer look at the fallout over the attack and Russia's stance in the United Nations debate tonight on PBS NewsHour starting at 7, right here on KPBS. San Diego is one step closer to having a special election in November. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says a ballot measure to fund a convention center expansion cleared a city council committee today.
Mayor Kevin Faulconer's proposal would raise the city's hotel room tax by up to 3 percentage points. Most of the new revenue would fund a waterfront expansion of the convention center. Smaller portions would fund road repair and services for the homeless. Critics of the proposal say the homelessness crisis is more urgent than the convention center, and the funding in the measure amounts to breadcrumbs.
Homelessness and infrastructure are included in the language simply to garner public support. The public can see through this guise, and we will challenge it. It is our moral obligation to do so.
Studies have shown a waterfront expansion of the convention center would attract new business and bring more money into city coffers. Councilman Mark Kersey says it's a smart investment and that the funding for homelessness and road repair is a start, not an end.
Nobody is suggesting this is going to solve the entire problem. We have never said that, and I don't believe anybody ever will. But this provides necessary money, and if we get this going in November, we'll obviously get that money sooner than later, which I think is necessary as well.
The council's Rules Committee ultimately voted to direct the city attorney and mayor to work out more details in the proposal. It could go before the full city council for more discussion as soon as next month. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
The Mission Valley Planning Group had a chance to be the first city panel to take a public stand on the Soccer City development proposal. But KPBS reporter Eric Anderson says they demurred.
Soccer City developers explained their plan 2 weeks ago as part of an information exchange. FS Investors is proposing buying and leasing the 166-acre Qualcomm Stadium site to build a soccer stadium, housing, commercial space, and parks. The planning panel voted to review the issue further, and they passed a motion against the likely November ballot measure on that issue. Soccer City developer Nick Stone wasn't surprised.
There's a group of 15 people that sit on this board that are concerned about their role in the process. But ultimately, it's the people's asset, it's the people's city, and we're going to all of those people. We're getting outside of the realm of the insider politics that you just saw and actually going to the people and saying, do you like this idea or not?
Stone says the ballot measure request will likely go before the City Council in June. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
We are the workers! We are the workers! The mighty, mighty workers! The mighty, mighty workers!
Governor Jerry Brown joined a rally of construction workers at the state capitol today and made another push for a $5 billion increase in taxes and fees to fund major road construction.
This is a fee for the privilege of driving on our roads that the people pay for. And we got to keep paying for them. Otherwise, they're not going to work for us. It's just that simple.
The proposal would raise gas taxes by 12 cents a gallon and increase vehicle registration fees. Republicans say the state should pay for road repairs with existing funds, but Democrats say that would require cuts to education and social services. The CDC says 10% of babies born to Zika-infected mothers in 2016 had birth defects. KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg says there have been 5 babies born with Zika-related birth defects in California.
The CDC reports last year, nearly 1,000 pregnant women from 44 states had some evidence of recent Zika infection. The agency says women who become infected in their first trimester are at highest risk of having a baby with birth defects. Dr. Ann Schuchat is the CDC's acting director. She says the small number of babies born with Zika-related birth defects may not reflect the full impact of the virus.
Some seemingly healthy babies born following pregnancies complicated by Zika may have developmental problems that become evident months after birth.
The CDC recommends that all babies born to infected mothers should be closely monitored for developmental problems. Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
Following up on a deadly shooting in Rosarito, a Baja official confirmed today that at least 2 of the passengers in an Uber car that was shot up last week were San Diego State students. The Uber driver was shot after picking up 3 students at a spring break event. Since Uber started operating in Mexico, drivers have repeatedly been injured in confrontations with taxi drivers who are unhappy about the competition. It's unknown whether this killing is related to that. Health officials and police teamed up today at Rady Children's Hospital to raise awareness about child abuse. KPBS's Susan Murphy reports from the front lawn of the hospital, where a special display is set up to mark National Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Each one of these 1,800 pinwheels represents an abused or neglected child who was treated or seen at the Chadwick Center of Rady Children's Hospital. The purpose of the display? To raise awareness, because prevention is a community-wide effort.
And by neighbors helping neighbors, families helping families in our whole community, we can reach out and prevent this from happening in the first place.
More than 43,000 children in San Diego County last year suffered from neglect or physical or emotional abuse. Senior Director Charles Wilson oversees the hospital's Center for Abused Kids.
We see children in the immediate aftermath of an abuse, either physical abuse where they're brought to our emergency department, or sexual abuse where they come in for what's called a sexual assault exam. Or we see children who may have been abused a year ago and are now just telling their parents or telling someone about it, and they come to us.
Wilson says the abuse can affect victims for the rest of their lives, leading to mental illness, substance abuse, heart disease, and even cancer. Child abuse pediatrician Premi Suresh says she examines and treats as many as 8 children a day. That's why it's important for the community to know how to help prevent the abuse.
By community support, by reducing social isolation, by reducing stress that families feel. And I think that ultimately we can make a difference in this.
About 1 in 8 children experience some form of maltreatment serious enough to be reported. The top form of abuse is neglect. Reporting from Rady Children's Hospital, Susan Murphy, KPBS News.
If you know or suspect a child is being abused, you may call the county's child abuse hotline. The number is 858-560-2191. Californians may soon be able to choose a third gender when filling out government documents such as driver's licenses and birth certificates. The Gender Recognition Act, co-authored by San Diego Senator Tony Atkins, would allow people to identify as non-binary. Under the bill, people would no longer have to undergo treatment or gain approval from the court to change their gender on documents. The California Family Council is opposed to the bill. The organization says there are only 2 genders, male and female. The first Latino mayor elected in Los Angeles in more than 100 years has his sight on Sacramento. Antonio Villaraigosa wants to be the next governor of California. Whoever wins the next year's race will face a host of tough challenges, from housing to job creation. From our sister station in San Francisco, KQED political reporter Marissa Lagos talks to Villaraigosa about what would make him stand out in the race.
You are running for governor, and I'd love to just have you tell us why you're running and what really you're trying to convey to voters.
I was born and raised here in the Golden State, and I've often said this was the place that gave me a shot. And as I've traveled the state, what it's become crystal clear is that not enough people are getting a shot. Too many people are struggling. Yes, this is the 6th largest economy. Yes, we're growing faster than the national average. Yes, we've grown more jobs than Florida and Texas combined, but we're not growing together. We're leaving too many people behind. 77 of the top 300 cities in the nation with the highest poverty rate are in California. 3 of the top 5 cities with the highest poverty rate are in the Central Valley. I think we've got to grow our economy. I think we've got to invest in our education and train people for the jobs of the 21st century. I think the economy is critical to our future, and the next governor's got to be focused on the economy, creating jobs and lifting more people up into the middle class.
Is there a way to bring jobs to the Central Valley the same way that you could bring them to LA or Silicon Valley?
I think we've got to invest in our schools. We've got to raise our standards, raise our expectations. We've got to bring technology into our classrooms. We've got to take our schools from out of a 19th century model into a 21st century model. We're going to bring arts and science back into our schools. We've got to train people for jobs in the new economy. You don't need a BS in engineering to be a coder, right, or a BS in biology to work in the health sciences, and yet we're not training people for those jobs.
You know, I'm curious, as LA mayor during the last economic downturn, kind of what lessons you would take from that to the State House if you made it there, and you know, would you support things like an additional taxes or reforming Prop 13, things that are very controversial?
Well, I've never been afraid to take on controversial issues. If you recall, people were saying back in 2009 that LA was going to go bankrupt, and I said, not on my watch. I made the tough calls. I streamlined our government. I had to address the fact that we weren't growing businesses in our town, so I made it free to open up a business in LA, and we doubled the number of small businesses coming to the city.
On taxes, though, I mean, this is something that, you know, our current governor has been very reticent to support. We've seen Prop 30 extended, but without, you know, some of the more regressive elements of it. I mean, is that an area that you think needs to be pursued, or do you think overall tax reform?
We have a broken tax system. It's broken at the top. It's broken. Our property taxes and Prop 13 is broken. You know, Think Long and California Forward, 2 bipartisan commissions have looked at this, and they said, if you're going to fix the tax system, you can't just fix it where you got to fix it all across the board, and that means we over-rely on the upper income tax. So what happens? A 3% drop in revenue can have a 20% impact on the budget because of the way capital gains works. And yes, our property taxes are lower than most states around the country, and we don't tax the service economy, which is one of the fastest growing parts of the economy. So if you're going to fix the tax system, you got to fix it all the way around. Yes, I could support tax reform. In fact, I've got the courage to take it on.
So we've seen a lot of mixed reactions in California from Democrats to this Trump administration. I think the legislature and a lot of lawmakers have come out, quite frankly, swinging. Is it useful to be so outspoken?
I understand why people are outspoken, as you said. I take umbrage with most of what I see coming out of Washington and coming out of President Trump's tweets and policies. I think the governor's found the right balance. I'm not going to respond to every ignorant tweet. The best way to respond to Donald Trump is to double down on what we do here and do it better. Look, California is the 6th largest economy in the world, and California welcomes its immigrants. You know, California understands that they have created wealth in this country, not just in tech and ag and the service economy and construction. They're growing business at a faster rate than the native born. We need to celebrate that and welcome that in a way that's very different from Donald Trump. We need to invest in infrastructure. He's talked about it. He hasn't done much on it.
You can see the full interview online at kqed.org. For the first time in several years, the boat launch at Lake Marina in San Diego's East County is open. Officials say thanks to recent rains, the launch is safe again. It had been closed because the water level in the lake was too low. Now boats, kayaks, float tubes, and other watercraft are allowed back in the reservoir for fishing and sightseeing. Lake Marina is southwest of the Laguna Mountains. Well, America's finest city is living up to its nickname. Sunshine and clear skies for the rest of the week. Erin Calandra has tonight's forecast.
Looking at the radar, we see some clouds moving in off the coast north of us, but down in San Diego, pretty clear skies. A beautiful day for us. Tonight, it's going to remain mild, 58 degrees for the overnight low, mainly clear, and that's how it looks pretty much across the region. Most temperatures are hovering around the 50s. Borrego Springs, 55, Mount Laguna, 43, but San Diego, 58, Chula Vista, 55, Poway, 50, and Oceanside, 50 degrees with just a few clouds moving through the region. Thursday, it's going to remain dry and warm. We will see some gusty winds north of us, but those won't reach us. Late week, we're going to see rain move in from Seattle all the way down through Los Angeles, and we're talking downpours in areas, potential for flooding too, but we're only going to see a shower move through Friday night, maybe a leftover shower on Saturday morning. Now looking at your forecast along the coast, Friday, partly sunny, a bit cooler at 69 degrees. After that cold front moves through Friday night, though, the temperature drops to 66 degrees with that morning shower I was talking about. On Sunday, 67 degrees, mostly sunny, and a rebound by Monday, 71 degrees for your high temperature. Looking inland on Friday, clouds and sun, 77 degrees. Cool down again on Saturday, 66. Sunday, much nicer, 70 degrees with lots of sunshine. Looking at the mountains, Friday, clouds and sun, 63. A lot cooler on Saturday, though, 51 degrees. On Sunday, we're going to have plenty of sunshine, and it's going to get a bit warmer, 54. By Monday for your work week, 61 degrees with mostly sunny skies. In the desert, it's always warmer, 90 degrees on Friday. It's going to be a scorcher, put on the sunblock, but look at the temperature difference. By Saturday, 77 degrees and sunny, a gorgeous day maybe to get outside with the kiddos. And on Sunday, 79 degrees, sunny and pleasant. By Monday, we're back in the 80s, 84 degrees for your high temperature with mostly sunny skies. For KPBS, I'm Erin Calandra.
A fresh face in the Santa Monica Mountains. Meet the newest mountain lion kitten. Wildlife leaders, though, found her in February and warn she may be the product of inbreeding. Experts blame it on the isolated area. Testing still needs to be done to confirm her father. A tiny island laboratory in the northwest corner of Washington, one marine biologist is on a mission to scan every known fish species in the world. In tonight's Earth Fix report, KCTS Seattle's Jared Rusk introduces us to the man behind the task that could fundamentally change the way scientists and educators look at marine anatomy.
I've spent a lot of my life on the interface between science and art. Understanding shape in an aesthetic way, presenting these skeletons in a visually arresting way often leads to new insights. Why do I like that angle? Why do I like that color map? I like that color map because it's bringing out some detail that I later realized is really important. If it took between, say, 4 and 10 hours to scan a fish with exquisite detail, you'd spend more than a career scanning 33,000 of them. The big innovation here was the idea to do lots of species at the same time. What we do is we package as many as 20 species of fishes all at once into a sort of fish burrito and then put them in the micro CT scanner and get data from all of them all at once. I've scanned 3 times as many fish in the last few months as I'd scanned in the previous 15 years. This is an amount of information that's just awe-inspiring, and it really does represent a huge increase in our body of knowledge about one of the most diverse and important group of vertebrates on the planet.
That story comes to us from EarthFix, an environmental reporting project made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Now, here's a look at what we are working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom, banking on a job boom in Silicon Valley and the Central Valley. A PolitiFact report. Check out that claim by the governor. And on Midday Edition, the Hello Girls, a new book sharing the stories of America's first women soldiers. That's tomorrow on KPBS Radio. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.